Today is the 10th of March 2019. My name is Laura and I am coming to you from the most easterly point of England in the UK. For any returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. I love you guys. And for any new viewers, thank you so much for checking me out. I love you guys too. If you fancy clicking the subscribe button below and giving me a thumbs up, I would always appreciate it. It gives me more visibility on YouTube. However, if this is not your cup of tea, then feel free to pass on by. This is my knit night, so welcome folks. Basically, I chat about my knitting and what I've done in yarniness throughout the last week because I have no in-person knitting friends. I now have quite a few online knitting friends, and I love you all, but I still don't have any real life, here in your face, actual knitting friends to knit with at all. So this is where I come for that. You can find me on Instagram as The Lonely Knitter and on Ravelry as The Lonely Knitter too. And yeah, there's a little bit of admin before we get into the podcast. So first of all, we have got a knit along going on at the moment. I have been absolutely awful with not checking the Ravelry group. I'm not gonna lie, I am bad at Ravelry. I need to get back in there, but basically it's going on in Ravelry. There are two threads, a finished object thread and a just chatter thread, and it's called it is the hashtag not going to EYF Cal. So I'm not going to EYF this year. I haven't been any year, as a matter of fact, but I'm not going this year when I really wish I was, and so I'm doing a knit along for everyone who is in the same boat as me. I thought I'd do a quick rundown of the prizes with you now, just because I haven't done it in a few weeks, and I know it's back there in previous videos, but in case you'd like to see it, here we go. So the first one that I've put my hands on is 10 20-gram mini skeins from Noodle Yarns. This amazing set, and I'm not taking it out of the plastic, so sorry for the crinkling, but I don't want to get any of these lost or tangled up because they are so gorgeous all tucked in there. And they also come with these amazing stitch markers. This is all hand dyed in Norfolk, and then these stitch markers made by the same lovely lady, that's Charlie. And they're all progress keepers, but they also have such a nice big ring that they could probably be used as stitch markers as well, and they are this gorgeous glass. So there's those and the stitch markers. They are one prize for our knit along. The next fabulous prize is this gorgeous skein of hand-spun reclaimed sari silk. There is 100 grams here, and this was donated by a wonderful viewer who I love very much. Thank you. Next prize we have from the fabulous Gilly Makes. If you don't know who Gilly Makes is, go and check her out on Instagram because she's an amazing bag maker. I have a couple of her bags and I love them. And she has donated one of her gorgeous little knot bags that you put that through that and it hangs on your wrist perfectly. And it is in this gorgeous socks pegged on a washing line fabric. And it even comes with a little skein of yarn. Next prize is one of my favourite bags. These are the Poundland shoppers that I absolutely love. And in this one, there is two mini skeins, 20-gram mini skeins of Family Tree Yarns. Family Tree Yarns, this is the yarn that I designed my Shosha Scraps mitts from, and two 20-gram mini skeins is enough to make that pair of fingerless mitts. So those go in there, and if you don't already own that pattern, then I will gift it to you. If you do own it and you would like me to gift it to someone else on your behalf, then you can let me know a person to send that to. The same goes for this one. I am a Gryffindor, I have been on Pottermore, I have checked, so a Gryffindor bag is also up for grabs. And in there, the 2 mini skeins from Elm Tree Yarns again, thank you Jane, are these 2 gorgeous, gorgeous colours. So those are a couple more prizes, and I think that's everything. And so that's 5 prizes overall, so that will be 2 prizes for the chatter thread, 2 prizes for the finished objects thread, and 1 prize for Instagram, because if you post your progress or your finished objects over on Instagram using the hashtag, then I will also pick from there for 1 prize. Okay, I think that's all of the admin. Oh, I got so close, you guys. Like last week, I know I was talking about how we said that my husband's like, why aren't you going to this thing? And I was like, it's a really long drive, it's a really long way to go. And he was like, you've driven long distances before, why aren't you driving to this thing? And I got really excited, and then I realised it was the same weekend of his work's Christmas do in Prague. So I couldn't go because we have a 2-year-old. I didn't say that bit. I live here with my husband and our 2-year-old daughter. And because I have a 2-year-old and didn't really want to take her on a 7.5-hour drive, I would need hotels and proper food and proper stops and breaks and things, and then in the crush of EYF with all the busyness, she would not have any fun whatsoever. She doesn't like big crowds anyway, she's a bit shy with new people. It wouldn't have worked. So I cast it off. Last week, that's how I was feeling. I was like, can't go, still can't go, I'm fine with not going, come on. I'm not fine with not going. And over this week, I have tried to get childcare. So I only from grandparents, because I feel like she hasn't had an overnight with anyone that isn't her grandparents, and to leave her for, because it would be the Thursday night and the Friday night I would need, so to leave her for 2 nights, I want to leave her with someone she's been left with before. And I know for a fact that my husband's parents will be both working, so I'm not going to ask them, but my parents are quite flexible in their working. My dad's a pilot, and he has on a rota that moves around all the time, and my mum can quite often flex her times and work from home and things like that. So I asked both of them, and unfortunately my dad is rotated to work and my mum has meetings, so she can't move. So I'm still not going. But I felt like it was in reach again this week, and then it was snatched away. So definitely not going to EYF, and I'm very, very jealous, and I'm going to be living through all of you. And I have already agreed with Katie of the Georgie Knits podcast, go check her out if you don't already. I've already agreed with her that she's going to FaceTime me on the Friday when she goes, so that I can buy things through her. I want some Libby and Amy and a few other things, so she's going to FaceTime me while we're there, and I'm going to go, I want that, and then I'm going to pay the postage, and she's going to post them back to me. Only a couple of things, because seriously, I'm broke. Not broke, I just, my craft budget has run dry. I spent it all. So yes, I think that's everything. I did want to say one more thing, which was that last week's episode ended in me talking a little bit about my mental health. And I said that I felt quite alone and quite down, and I was just, my feelings that I do often get, and I have been on medication for in the past, and I usually sort of try and pull myself out of now without the help of medication, but I would go back on it if I felt I needed it. I had all that discussion at the end of last week about my mental health, and I received quite a few messages and comments that were incredibly kind and thoughtful, and just made me start my week feeling a lot less alone. So thank you guys. I don't need everyone to send me a message. You've all got lives, and you're all busy. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not saying anything for sympathy. I was just sharing how I was feeling. But I really, really appreciate every single one of you who made the effort to message me and to contact me. It so went a long way to making me feel like I wasn't on my own, and it started my week off so well. So thank you so much. Anyway, so turn the page on my tiny little notebook, because I have show notes again, because I am organised. I have no finished objects. I feel like I have had a run of weeks where I have had finished object after finished object after finished object, like at least 2 finished objects for quite a few weeks now. Well, now I have none, but I have worked on a few older projects. Yay me. So the first thing that I started the week off working on was my Weekender by Andrea Mowry. I joined the 16 weeks of Weekender knit along, and posted probably the first few weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks, with posted the first few weeks with the post that you meant to do on Instagram, and then I sort of forgot about it and got bored. So whilst I am doing that knit along, I'm not doing it to their time frame at all because I've fallen off the wagon. But I got this out, I'd already finished the front, and I went back to the back and I finished the back. So now I have done the 3 needle bind off on one shoulder, and I just need to do the 3 needle bind off on this shoulder, and then I will have a sort of very baggy vest. Very baggy, look at that. It's not very often that I look at a garment and think, I will have much room in that garment. So this is my Weekender, and I will do this hopefully this week and then get started on Sleeve Island. I'm not good at Sleeve Island. You may remember the flax that's like stayed on Sleeve Island for like 6 months while I ignored it. But yeah, I want this sweater. I want to see how it actually fits on my body, because right now it feels like a giant sack, and I know that for me, I feel that as a larger lady, maybe this isn't the sort of garment that I can pull off in a cool sort of way, you know, because I think when I am smaller, which I have been, baggy garments just make me look maybe even a little bit diddier. I feel like this is going to look like a massive capey giant thing. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to get that same look in this. We'll see, I might be wrong. But hopefully this will get done soon. I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's that bit. We'll see. So that is hanging out in my Yarn in the City bag. It's the tote I got from Yarntopia, and it's been living in my car for weeks, because I do normally keep a knitting project in my car, but it usually comes in and out every now and then, and it actually does get worked on usually when Ellie's fallen asleep in the car on the way back from something, and then I don't really want to get her up or wake her up or take her in, or I know she's slept long enough that if I try and take her in I won't be able to transfer her, she'll just wake up, but I want to have a little bit longer. I will then sit there and knit on that project. But I've been taking other projects in my handbag and then not working on that at all. So that got some much needed love. The other thing that got some much needed love was one of my lost projects. So you might remember, I think I said the other week, I found a few lost projects. Maybe I didn't say that. The other week I found some lost projects. I knew they were in the house somewhere, I just didn't know where, and I found them, and one was a baby blanket for my nephew, who was born last September? End of September, start of October. Oh, that's bad, I can't remember. She doesn't watch this. It's fine. So my nephew, I did not have his baby blanket ready for his birth. Same didn't happen for my niece either. They'll get it eventually, but the way I see it is I don't really knit baby blankets for these family member babies. Get a massive blanket that would at least cover a single bed. So that's actually quite a lot of fabric to haul around when they're a little baby. I am knitting blankets that hopefully they will use for the rest of their lives, not just, or take to uni, or you know what I mean. They have the ability to do that if they want to. So if we don't get it soon, meh, that's fine. I haven't got anything against smaller blankets. It's just I like to knit smaller blankets, but for these babies, my great grandma used to make big blankets for all of the babies in our family, and I'm trying to continue on that tradition. So I found that hasn't been worked on. I don't even know why I'm talking about that, because it hasn't even been worked on. But what I also found that has been worked on is my Floozy. Now, I started this last year. I think I started it like when the pattern came out. I think I did, I'm pretty sure. And I knit. So here we go. This is my Floozy. Where are you, needle? Here we go. this is my Floozy, and I had knit to about here. Yeah, I've knit about another half. So I knit to about like there, and I picked it up this week and I worked solidly on it for a little while and got to here. So I am marching on down the body. I am not sure whether or not I want to make the shorter body or the longer one. I think it's going to be the shorter one, just because I'm impatient. This is fingering weight yarn and I don't have that much yarn left. I have only got this much yarn left. That is not a lot. I already know I was going to do shorter sleeves, the 3/4 length sleeves, but maybe they might even have to be even shorter than that sleeves and short body. So we'll see how we get on. But I love this colour work. It was the type of colour work that you only work one colour in a row at a time, and it was nice and easy. And this is Cascade Yarns. I'm not sure I will be buying their yarn again, only because I have heard some very unsavoury things about their company and the way they treat or the views they have on certain people in our community. And I'm not okay with that. But I have it, I've already knit part of it, and I'm going to use it. If someone asks me what the yarn is, maybe I'll just say, like in the future, when I'm wearing it, if someone goes, oh, what yarn is that? Maybe I'll just say, can't remember, or don't know, or a company that I don't particularly want to tell anyone, recommend anyone anymore. But the rest of this bit, the lovely, so this purple is also the same yarn, but this gorgeous variegated yarn, this pink and purple, is it's Romeo and Juliet. That's the colourway name. I bought it a while ago and the rest of the yarn was taken for something else. I do know it. It's getting right on my wig. Is it out? No. Is it? Oh, Elm Tree Yarns? Sorry, don't know. I'm sorry, I can't remember. So that's living in the sweater bag that I made for myself the other week. This one. Zombie bag. And yeah, that one had a bit of love. And then I got onto designing stuff. So I had a chat with a few people. Some of the chats that I had and plans that I had are a little up in the air now, just due to certain things that are none of my business really, so I'm not going to talk about them here. But one person asked me if I would fancy knitting a slipper pattern that they could use in kits, and whilst I don't think that's going to be happening anymore by the sound of it, I'm not 100%, waiting to see, I did get a bee in my bonnet about designing a slipper pattern, because I really like fingering weight yarn everything because I have a lot of it, and I like not sewing up. So I have designed this. So this is a slip-on slipper, little slipper, or almost like one of those, I have socks like these, I'm sure, that are like this, that you're supposed to be able to wear in pumps, but you can't really see them. It is knit completely in one piece from the toe to the back, and there is a 3-needle bind off here and a load of Kitchener stitch here. This has not been blocked. I'm not putting it on a sock blocker because I have specifically knit it so it will go like this. This band is meant to be taut around your ankle so it doesn't slip off or fall off at all, because that is my one bugbear with slippers like that. If I put it on a sock blocker, this will stretch out because sock blockers go like that. And I don't want that. I want as much of it to stay like that as possible. So I'm just going to block these flat when I block them. Now, this little test is knit out of a ancient yarn, a part ball of sock yarn that I do not have any details for. This, I definitely got this whilst I was still at uni, like living at uni. That was at least 7.5 years ago, probably longer, so I have no details on this yarn whatsoever. But it was just, I'm not going to use this for socks because it's part of a ball and I've got so many other amazing balls of sock yarn, and this is sort of like wasty, getting rid of some stuff that is stuck in stash. So I have already cast on, so I have a hoe at least, there's one done there, and then I have cast on the second one, and I'm actually not that far off of being done. So this will probably get done as well this week. I have made a few modifications from this one to make the fit hopefully better, and then I'm going to reknit them in this amazing skein of Lay Family Yarn. Anyone who doesn't know who Lay Family Yarn are, and the amazing Kelly and their little team, then what? Go and have a look. This is the amazing Midnight Butterfly. I got this from Unravel and I love, 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 love it. And I have just been dying to cast it on ever since I brought it home. So I'm going to knit them back up in these with a couple more modifications, because since I knit here, I suddenly thought about something I want up here that I need to change. So it's going to have a few more bits whizzed around. And also some, so it'll have the information, the pattern when it's written up will have the information for how to knit this, but it would also have some modifications, hopefully, because I'll need to work this out when I knit it again with this yarn. It will have some modifications to put some buttonholes down the sides, and so you can put some ribbon in and lace them, and also it will have a knit band modification that you pick up stitches here and knit along here and then sew on here, so that it has a, is it like a Mary Jane style band, just in case you want that across the front. So it will come with modifications. So that is my one of my newest patterns that I am dreaming up, and that is living in this bag, which I am a traitor, I'm so sorry, but the gorgeous Nicola, so beautiful by Nicola, I'm sure is her Instagram. Let me just have a little look. She said that I could keep my bag if I wanted to keep this bag. This was my free gift bag from last, I think it was last episode. I got this bag, this gorgeous giant bag from her. It's currently holding my spinning, which I've not done any of. And she was sending out a free gift to her first 5 customers, so I was incredibly grateful. This was my amazing free gift. And then I was sitting there thinking, should I leave it, put it to one side and use it for a giveaway at some point? But I am so beautiful, so beautiful by Nicola. I'm not so beautiful, jeez. Can you see that? Go and check her out on Instagram. She's lovely, and she has some gorgeous bags. So beautiful by Nicola. She sent me this gorgeous bag along with that other one, and I was going to keep it as a giveaway, and then I was looking at it and I was like, I really like Eiffel Towers, I like Paris, I like this bag, and then I needed a project bag for this project, and I just grabbed it. Luckily she did send me a message and say that when she has time she would be very happy to send us a giveaway for the podcast, and I can keep this one. And so I was like, well, what more reasons do I need? Go, just use it. So this one has been living in here. And what else? Oh, so my last whip of the week is living in this bag. Now I'm going to take my spinning out of that unicorn bag and put this project in there, but right now it's living in my Poundland tote because I love these Poundland totes, and it says, don't let the muggles get you down. And in here is my latest design. Now last week I showed a swatch, and it was of a shawl, and I said that, like, I don't have any DK weight yarn in my stash right now, and this week I don't happen to have any yarn budget, and I don't have any for the next week either, but I get paid on Friday, it'll be okay. But I don't have any yarn budget money right this minute, and I really want to knit this up, but it's gonna have to wait. And I was contacted because, and I said before as well, like, yarn support, I feel very awkward about it. A lot of people have told me to ask for yarn support from certain dyers or companies, and I struggle a lot with asking for yarn support and that idea, and I haven't done it. I've had amazing people send me things to try stuff out before, but I have not asked because I feel that these people spend a massive amount of time, effort, money, everything, putting their blood, sweat and tears into their businesses, and for me to turn around and say that I feel that they should give me something, even if they would be getting a bit of publicity from it, Sorry, I'm getting my low battery coming up on my screen. Even if they would be getting a little bit of publicity from it, from me, because I don't have a massive following, it wouldn't be that much publicity, so are they really getting a fair deal? So I don't feel like an ask for yarn support, but I did have a couple of amazing people message me and talk to me about it, and one of those people was the fabulous Sam. So Sam has an online yarn shop. It is called Yarntopia, and I'll put the details here and down below. And she's just started, this is also Stache Department, because this is everything that's come into my house this week. But she has started stocking some woolly knit yarn. And it's the woolly knit blue-faced Leicester 100% natural blue-faced fleece yarn, and it is DK weight, and it's lovely. She basically said she was looking for a pattern that she can make kits up with, and so we agreed a trade. So I picked a couple of shades, and she has sent them to me because she is amazing lady, and I am knitting up a shawl design, that one that I showed the swatch of last week, and then we've traded for the yarn. So she will have the pattern to make up as kits. I will sell the pattern on Ravelry myself, and she will also be able to sell them as kits. So I won't sell them as kits, but she will have the yarn, the needles, the pattern together as a bundle that you can buy through her with a printout, whereas through me it's on Ravelry. And I'm incredibly grateful. That's if all this comes out. Like, if she hates it, Sam, if you hate it, just tell me. But this is what I have so far. So I'm planning on this being quite a large shawl. I'm partway through a row and I haven't got a massive needle that this is on right now. So I'm going to show you a half. It is a triangular shaped shawl with the increases in the middle and on the sides. And this is where we are so far. So I've got my first row of these. So this is something that I will be definitely doing a YouTube tutorial on how to do this stitch, which is this cluster of loops around the stitches. And I'm loving how it's worked up so far. She sent me, she's a legend, 6 balls of yarn. So these come in 50-gram skeins or balls. And she sent me 3 of each colour. I chose, so this is Blossom and this is the Gold. They are available on her website right now if you fancy it, and there are a few more shades there too. And they're only £4.50 per ball. So for, I think that's quite good for 100% wool. And they're not scratchy, that's the other thing. I think a lot of people, think 100% wool, scratchy. I do not find this scratchy. I would say I'm not going to say that it's the softest of the softest thing. Like, I felt cashmere against my cheek, guys. It's not cashmere. But I felt wool. This is not a woolly wool. This is a gorgeous wool. Like, I would be happy with that there. And that's a big deal for me. I love it. So, hopefully this shawl will not be a disappointment. It is knitting up quite quickly, I think. I started it last night. And we've had a full day of parenting activities and things today. So I started it last night, just before I went to bed, so I'm really happy with it so far. And I really wanted, with my first shawl design, I really wanted to have these big sections that were potato chip knitting. That's what I hear people call it online. Because I like to watch the telly and knit. So there's going to be a lot of these sections and interest sections and things going on in terms of repeats. But it's not going to be too complicated. This is something that a beginner could knit, as long as you are happy with this stitch, which again I will have a video for. But it's also, I don't think it will look too basic, and I just want it to be something that everyone feels like they can have a go at, but you end up with a really substantial item at the end. So this is my other design for this week, and thank you so much for Sam at Yarntopia for being an absolute gem and taking a chance on me, because I really appreciated it. I really wanted to try making this my first shawl design. I really wanted to try it out, and because I knew that I wanted it to be in DK, and it just so happened at the same time I had no DK in my stash, I was putting it on hold, and now I don't have to, because you are an absolute legend. Thank you. Okay, I think that is all of the projects that I was going to talk about that I've knit on. And Stache Enhancement, those skeins of yarn that are being worked up into that shawl are the only thing that has come into my house yarny this week. But I have been doing some work, design work in fact. So I have been talking about certain patterns on my podcast for a little while, and I haven't actually done anything with them. So one of them was this, the South Beach cowl. I'm trying to work out which is where the start point is with the jog. I can't see, but this is the South Beach cowl. This is one of my latest designs, and I really wanted to write this up. I also wanted to write up the House Points cowl, which I've shown previously, and I'll put a picture in here. And I also wanted to write up the Champion socks pattern, which I'll put in here. And those were ones, they all have, like, they're all ones that I've spent a lot of time on. I have knit them all, like obviously I've knit the pair of socks once, but I've knit each sock. So that's twice I've tried the pattern. This, I've knit this twice. The House Points cowl, I've knit that twice. I've got a real thing about trying to make sure that my patterns are as perfect as they can possibly be. I'm a little bit obsessive when it comes to how I write things up, and just try my absolute best to make them as easy for everyone to work with. And I haven't had the time to do that. So I have a toddler, I work on a Monday and a Tuesday, and that is the only time in the week that I am without said toddler. So sometimes it can be really hard for me to actually get time to set aside to work on the writing up side and to get my laptop out. So I do it on my laptop because that's the way I can focus. Just sit down at my laptop. I've got an iPad, I've got a phone, I just can't get it done on there. I need to sit down, look at my laptop, be on Word, be on Excel, and get things done on there. So Friday night, my husband's normally in the evenings as well. I'm knackered, like proper knackered, and my brain doesn't function enough for me to be able to sit there and really know what I'm doing. But Friday night, my husband's at football, and Ellie went to bed early because we'd had a knackering out day, and I wrote up this pattern to a standard that I was happy with and did my first ever chart for the colour work. And then Saturday, I got the chance to write up the socks, the Champion socks, and the Champion socks are named for the amazing champions that I have had, like the people who champion others within this society. And I know that not everyone has had this experience, which I find really upsetting, because for me it's been a major booster. I think everyone should be able to get that. But I have had a few women especially really boost my confidence, be behind me, cheering me on through even just little odd messages, some of them through more than that. And these socks have two designs in them, and they were really started off by Kelly of Lay Family Yarn and Jane of Family Tree Yarns. And the yarn is actually, that I've knit them from, is actually Jane's yarn. And both of those women, or when I was very first writing my first design, they were huge supporters and made me feel like I could do something that I was really scared of doing. So I have had some design time this week, and I have written up this pattern and those two other patterns, and I've put them on Instagram, called out for testers, had a ton of people say yes. I have sent those 3 patterns out to many people. They are all currently being test knit, and within the next few weeks I am hoping to have a few released. I think after a lot of consideration, I have really thought about this, I may be offering a coupon code to get this for free for the first maybe day of having it out. Only because I'm starting the colour work cowl with Katie from Geordie Knits, and this is a colour work project, and I would love some of our lovely joinerinners to get it and maybe consider working on it. And I like the idea that as I'm one of the women running it, maybe this is something I can contribute right at the beginning. So 3 patterns out to test knitters feels like a huge deal for me, and I was a bit shaky when I was sending them out because that's all I get. But now that they're out there, I'm feeling a bit better about it, and hopefully I'll have some more patterns out soon. Sorry if the camera angle has changed there. I had to go and plug my phone in because I was about to run out of battery. I didn't think I said, this jumper is ancient and I bought it from Noodle. I'm admitting it. I didn't make this jumper. This is a knitting podcast and I'm wearing a store-bought sweater. But it's really snuggly. It's been a really cold and windy day. The few sweaters that I do own that I've knit myself are all in need of a wash because I like to actually hand wash them and I haven't got around to it. Anyway, so that's about everything for the knitting content of my week, and now it's just going to be a very quick rundown of my week, and then I'll try and remember who I've watched on podcasts this week. I'm not going to do a big full rundown, so I did one last week, and I think that's going to be an every couple of week thing that I talk about the podcasts I watch, because it takes up a big section because I watch a lot of you. So if you're not interested in listening to what I've done this week and podcasts and those, it's not going to take very long. I have not got a big chunk of stuff to talk about, but if I'm losing you now, then thank you so much for sticking with me so far. If however you are staying on, let's get going. So this week, Monday and Tuesday I worked. I did a late shift on a Monday and a day on a Tuesday, and then Wednesday we took Ellie to gymnastics, and then we stayed in the house because it was horrible weather. Thursday, I had to go to my dad's because I had car trouble. I have a wheel bearing that is wearing out something on my back passenger side wheel on my car. So it's just started to make this noise when I drive, sort of a background noise starting when I'm doing higher speeds. So they're fixing that this week, which is lovely. Thank you, Dad. My dad doesn't watch this, I don't know why I said thank you, Dad. So there was that, and then we did Ellie's swimming lesson, and then spent the rest of the afternoon with my dad and my grandparents. Friday we went for a beach walk, which is where I took pictures of my this cowl, which, by the way, I don't know if I said, but the main reason that I love this cowl, I know I've talked about it before, but this is the sea. Like, I live in a seaside town. This is the South Beach cowl. I live on the north side of town, but if you cross over the bridge onto the south side, there is the beach there that we go on, and so this is meant to be the deep water. This is meant to be the waves breaking on the sand, and then up here are all the beach huts. But the main reason I really like this cowl is because it stays up. Like, you can see, it is clinging, and so I always find that cowls really hang low, which is fine, I'm okay with that, but I really wanted one that stuck up around my face for those cold windy days. Because it's colour work and I've got all these floats, it's super squashy, and because it's DK. And if I do this, it stays up. It's not falling down my face. And it smells really good because I washed it with this really nice wool wash. Anyway, so talking about it again, but we went on a beach walk, which is where we took some pictures, and then that was me and my friend, and then we went and had a hot chocolate and sat with our toddlers, and our toddlers just ran around together. They're the same age, and they ran around together like crazy and burned off some energy. And then we spent the whole afternoon around my sister-in-law's house, and my daughter played with her cousin, who's also the same age, which was really nice. And it meant that Ellie did not have a nap, so she went to bed really early and really easily and slept really well. Then Saturday, Ellie went to my parents. My parents, they don't have her for childcare like my husband's parents do. My husband's mum looks after our daughter on the days I work, so that we don't have to pay for childcare, which is so nice. But my parents both still work full time and aren't able to do that, though I know they would if they were available. And they do often have her at other times. But my mum wanted to schedule in some time where they could have her so that they can, you know, just see her and take her somewhere nice. So they had her for the day, and it was amazing. That's when I knit, when I wrote up my two other patterns, my House Points cowl and my Champion Socks patterns, and started getting them out for testing. So it was invaluable. That time for me was absolutely amazing. It wasn't my Saturday to work, and I got so much done that I would never have normally got done, and I just really, really appreciated that time. I just feel like it's a weight off my mind, because these things have been sat there for ages and I desperately wanted to do something with them, and I felt like I'm constantly procrastinating, even though I know I'm not. I can't do it because I've got a toddler who is needing a lot of attention to the point where I can't concentrate on a computer for a long period of time. But whatever. Then today is Sunday, and we've had just a nice chilled out family day. She slept until really late, and then Chris took her to gymnastics. They have a open, it's kind of like soft play and trampolines, and it is just basically the gymnastic club with a load of soft play stuck in there, and they do a 2-hour session for kids on a Sunday. So he took her there, and me and my dad met at a lady's house in a town nearby and bought her second-hand cross trainer. I've been saying I'm going to get fit forever. I have joined gyms, I have tried doing exercise myself. I don't enjoy it, but I really would like to get a bit fitter and lose a bit of weight just for my health. And my husband is the sort of bloke that puts weight on every winter and then loses it all every summer. So he's fine. He's not massively overweight, but he just wants to be a bit fitter, and his main thing is he likes weights. So we are just sorting out our garage, and our garage already has mats down, which actually would be perfect blocking mats, but they're really dirty. But it has mats down, he's got weights bench, and he's got some weights in there, and he wants to actually start using it as a bit of a gym rather than us going out and paying for gym memberships that we really don't have that extra cash for right now if we want to keep our lives as they are. The one machine that I ever really used at the gym was a cross trainer, sometimes an exercise bike. So we were talking about getting one, and they were all quite expensive, and then there was one on Gumtree for 35 quid, or for 40 quid, but I offered 30 and she went for 35, and we met in the middle. And yeah, we just decided to go for it. So we went, and me and my dad checked it out. I went with my dad because both my car and my husband's car is a saloon type, so you can't put the seats down and have boot and car space. And my car is a Micra, it's very small. But my dad has trailers and big cars and just other vehicles, so he met me there with a trailer, but it was pouring down, but it was fine. It actually went in the back of his car. We brought it back here, I've cleaned it off, it's all in working order, put new batteries in the display, it's all absolutely fine. That's going to go in the garage, and maybe I'm going to do some exercise. I don't know, we'll see. I used to get really motivated by the crazy sock lady, Kay, because she'd be on her, she calls it an elliptical. I don't know if that's the proper name for it or just an American term, but everyone I know calls it a cross trainer. I think they're exactly the same though, but mine is the one that does come with a bike seat that you can put up and down, so I can sit and use it if I needed to, or I can stand and use it, so I quite like that idea. And I'm going to put it in the garage, and the Wi-Fi does stretch to the garage, and it's quite a quiet one because it's a magnetic one, and I am going to put podcasters on YouTube and do some exercise. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I used to run when I was younger, lost a lot of weight when I was younger running, and I have hurt my ankles, both of my ankles, multiple times. I mean, to the point where I have 2 pairs of crutches in the garage because I am that prone to falling over. But I've hurt one ankle a lot of times, and now it turns quite easily every now and then, and I just fall over and look like a numpty, only if I'm like running or doing something a bit too fast and not concentrating. And I had, a couple of years ago, decided when I had Ellie, basically, so January 2017, I decided I was going to run and lose weight, and I did. I lost 5 stone. I've now put like 3 of it back on, and I did it with running and diet and exercise and Slimming World. I quit Slimming World in the end because I know how to do it, but I was not feeling motivated when I left each class. Which I know is my own fault, not anyone else's, but I wasn't feeling motivated, and it meant that I was really just pouring a fiver down the drain every week because I was sitting through the meeting, I was nodding away, and then I wasn't doing it. I wasn't in the right headspace, so I have left that behind for now. I can do Slimming World if I want to. I have all the cookbooks, I have all the stuff. I can weigh myself, I have scales in my house. but until I feel like I'm in that right headspace to go back, I'm not going to spend that money. So I lost all that weight and I was running, and I ran the Run Norwich run, which is a 10k, and it's quite hilly, and I did that 2 years in a row, and I was really feeling the running. But then I started to turn my ankles a lot, and sprained one once, and just really was hurting myself. And then the tops of my feet, it felt like the bones in the tops of my feet, I felt like they were bruised. And as I was running, or even just on a normal day, I'd get up funny and ow, my foot hurts. And basically I am a big lady slamming down high impact onto my legs and feet, and it's not good for me. I was getting a lot of injuries, and so this is my attempt at something else. I love swimming, but it's getting out of the house to go swimming, and you know, all sorts of different things. It's going to the gym even, it's getting out of the house to go to the gym, and it's the travel time to and from the gym, and I can only go in the evenings, and me and my husband, we both want to go, and we only have the evenings. So having everything set up in our garage might give us the opportunity to get out there, even because I would happily do half an hour on that a few times a week, really try, and be happy with that. So to walk out to my garage for 30 minutes every now and then, rather than to drive to the gym and then feel like you need to be there for at least an hour to get your time and money's worth, and then drive home, it's getting really late, and I probably wouldn't have had dinner, and etc, etc. So I got a cross trainer basically. God, that was a long way to say I got a cross trainer. And then this afternoon we went to sort of the next town along, which is Galston, and went and walked up and down the seafront, went to the Amusements. It was cold and rainy, but we bundled up and it was lovely. And we went to the Amusements, and Ellie did the 2p machines, and those are the ones where you put the 2p's in. So you're doing the 2p machine. We didn't like win any of the toys that were sat in there or anything, but at the same time you get tickets coming out, and then you can buy prizes with your tickets. Ellie wasn't interested for that long, and most of the prizes are like the good prizes. You have to win like 2,500 tickets to get something good, but the £5 that we put into the 2p machines, she got 130 tickets, and it was 100 tickets to buy a large bouncy ball, really big, bright coloured bouncy balls. So she did that and was very, very happy with her winnings. And we came home and just chilled out for the end of the afternoon, and now she's gone to bed. She hasn't had a nap again today, and she's done quite a lot of running around at gym and at the seafront, so I'm hoping for another really good night's sleep. And that's it. Podcasts I've watched this week, obviously Geordie Knits, Katie, because she's my knitting bestie, so I have to watch her. And her podcast is really good. I have just this afternoon watched SCR1TNO, that is my yarn mum, Sharon. I have been adopted, so, you know, by my yarn mother. Let me just nip onto my subs screen and have a little look at who else I've watched. I've definitely watched the back episode of the Yarn Hoarder, because I'm slowly working through all of hers. And she had a new episode out, which I did watch, which was like 6 days ago. Her episodes haven't been that regular recently, she's been super busy, but I have been catching up with them, so I feel like I've been watching a lot in the last few weeks, even though she hasn't posted. I'm halfway through, literally halfway through. This is my screen, and this is the Ollie and Bella podcast down here. I'm halfway through, so I will continue watching that later. Grocery Girls had a new podcast, that was only 3 days ago, and it was hilarious as always. They make me die. And Mia, Knitting Expat, she put up a lovely family weekend vlog and some knit crate reviews, which Layla starred in amazingly. My toddler would never be that well behaved. She was so sweet. I have watched Skein Ellie of Skein Knits, and her amazing new patterns. I have watched... I thought that Gemma of the Project Bag had an episode since I last recorded, but I don't think she has. Amy Florence. I haven't watched one of hers this week either. She's gone to America though, or is going to America. I am also partway through the LNS Crafts podcast. That is Lorraine. Sorry, I know I've not been looking at the screen. I'm looking at my iPad down here. LNS Crafts. I have watched half of hers. I have this quite bad habit of watching half podcast and going back to it afterwards. I will get through it all. I will get through all of them all. It's just that it's basically when I get interrupted when I'm doing something and then have it on in the background, and then Ellie's really starting to take my attention away, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's just stop that so I can get back to it later. Dundonit had an episode up this week, and I watched it, and then it went away, and she re-uploaded it. I haven't watched the re-upload, but I'm guessing it's the same. Vine has an episode, but I haven't watched it. Ramblin' Needles, Morgan, I've watched hers. I watched it today, in fact, and it only came out yesterday, and she had knit a lot of hats. And I think that is about it for all the podcasts I have watched this week. As I said before, I am not going to include a list in my show notes because I'm a lazy bugger, and also because it takes me quite a lot of time and work to do that, and also I don't think that's actually a full list. I definitely watch other people, but I have promised myself that I am going to use my diary this week a bit more, and my strict that diary that I have, that I've showed before, and I'm going to actually put things in there like what I've knit on and when, and you know, on each day I'm going to write in what I've knit on, and I'm going to write in what podcasts I have watched, just because it will make it so much easier when it comes to recording next week. I also I can't remember what I was going to say then. This is a bad week. You can tell I'm knackered. I'm knackered every week. That is not an excuse. Yeah, this week coming up is going to be pretty much normal. I'm working Monday, Tuesday and Saturday, and Ellie has her 2-year review with the health visitor on the Wednesday, so that will be interesting. I need to finish filling out the questionnaires for that, and that's about it. Got a few other things going on that I can't really tell you guys about. I think that is it. I think that's it. So yeah, ooh, that was a bit of a fizzled out ending there. It's only 9 o'clock over here. We got Ellie to bed so early that I'm recording like an hour earlier than normal, so I can't even play the knackered card because I'm not actually that tired. It's not gone my bedtime. But I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to go and join in on the Not Going to EYF cowl if you fancy it. If you're not going, I wish I was going. You never know. If my mum's meeting gets cancelled, or my dad's work shift got cancelled, if it was really bad weather and planes couldn't fly, or you know, something like that, it might. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. I don't know why I'm clinging on. EYF is not happening this year for me. But yes, I hope everyone has a lovely week. Seriously guys, when I was talking last week at the end of the episode about how I've been feeling, I was not expecting to have such an amazing outpouring of love and support from people. I love you guys and I really appreciate it, and that is one of the main reasons that I do this podcast, because I don't want to feel on my own, and you guys do make me feel like I am with friends. Anyway, I'm going to go and chill out on the sofa, start editing this podcast and watch something with my husband. Thank you so much. If you have got all the way through my ramblings for this week, I really, really do appreciate it, I promise. And thank you, as always, for making me much less of a lonely knitter.